Okay, it's going.
This is my
Oh
God.
my God. I don't know if the size of it or the decor is better.
Yeah, it's
What is
we
it?
went
Can
to
you
a
give us a description?
I mean, it is a like textured replica of a dinosaur's eye. I think it's probably supposed to be a T-Rex. We went to watch Jurassic Park at some point in the summer, Sarah and I, and we saw it, and because I was getting a Diet Coke as always at the cinema,
Uh,
and I audibly gasped, and we were like, "Well, I have to get it." So
that eye is wild. I kind of
it's
love
kind of
that.
it's kind of scary. Hmm.
Yeah, love it.
So yeah, what are you drinking? What is your
I'm
drink
just
of the
drinking
episode?
some red tea in my
How
Michigan cup.
how British of you? Ooh,
Yeah. Um, I'm at home in Michigan, so I'm trying to use Michigan themed things.
nice.
It's beautiful
I
and
was gonna
green
say
outside.
a new
It's very
location unlocked.
another location which is causing me grief because the time zones, Salt Lake City is 7 hours behind the UK, London's 5 hours behind, and Salt Lake City is on mountain time, which is a really weird
Oh.
strip that very few places are actually on. So it's kind of a weird one. Like no one's ever on mountain time. Um, so it's just been up and down. And today, actually yesterday, I got an email from Holly like, hey, make sure you're not missing meeting like teacher training phone calls. And I was like, I know I have been, and it's because I
Oh.
hadn't. Acuity scheduling is great,
Yeah.
but what was happening is that people were able to book in within 2 hours beforehand
Oh,
on
I
British
remember you were
time.
saying this. Oh,
Yeah,
that's not
which is
really
not a
good.
good thing anyway, because then you can't like live your life. Like you'll be out
Mm-mm.
somewhere and it'll be like so and so booked a phone call in for 2 hours from now. Um, so what was happening is people were booking in for like 2 p.m. UK time, which would be 7 a.m. my time, and then I would not see it because I would be sleeping, and then I'd wake up
Hmm.
and have to email them and be like, "Hey, so sorry, I'm on a different time zone." So then I was getting up at like 5 a.m. just to wait and
I
see.
remember
It was
you were
just
saying this.
not,
That no, that's
yeah,
not a healthy
it wasn't good.
pattern.
So I've restricted the slot. I think also so many people are interested in doing teacher training now that these slots just are filling up in terms of just even wanting to talk about it.
That is wild to me.
Isn't that wild? It's
Like I don't.
actually
I'm like
crazy.
surely, in everyone that's wanted or thought about it would have like signed up or like been in and like have done their training, but I guess not because every week like there's more people finding it and like
Every week. Yeah. And I used
it's
to
crazy.
tell people, if you sign up within a month of it starting, you'll be more than fine. It won't fill up. But the October one was full in July. So now I'm
Wow.
like, you might want to sign up if you want to do the January or
ASAP.
whenever the spring one starts, which is crazy. I mean, it's very cool, but it's nuts.
That's so funny because I remember when I was signing up for the Equinox course, there was like minimal information online, and it was just like the website it was being done through. It was like connected to the Equinox one, but not. And I didn't think to contact like anyone from the team in London or like try to get in contact, which I don't know why I didn't. But I remember feeling so stressed about making that first deposit or like wanting to make it like as soon as possible to get myself on the like on the intake, and I was like stressing my parents out being like, can we please like sign me up for this as soon as possible, and they were just like, well,
Right.
there's no way it's going to sell out, like you're fine, don't stress about it, like I'm sure you can just book like up until right before. And I was like, yeah, but like I'm very type A. I was like, can we please just get it sorted? And we were still able to get it done like in the summer, but we were just trying to figure out like legality things else like that were going on with me being in the UK more than anything. And it's funny because our intake didn't fill up completely, but now they've started to cap the intakes because I think I'm not going to say it was just our intake. I think it was us and a couple others who have been really promoting the Equinox brand. And like there have been people who told me to my face they found Equinox through me or through a TikTok I made. And I was like, I'm a
Yeah.
little tiny human. So if that's happening, um, And so yeah, so the next few intakes are like filling up completely, and I'm like, thank God that that was not me, and that's not me
I
with pie
know.
because if I had, yeah, I can't imagine having missed out.
How big
That's
is an
scary.
intake? How big was your group?
We were, I'm like, let me count all the girls. I think we were around 10 at the start. One or two ended up dropping out, and then we gained two. Our final and then no, but then some people like delayed at the end. But like the sort of final main group of us, wait, I'm gonna pull up one of the photos we have because that's just a better way to make
Yeah,
sure I don't forget
I
any
think
of them.
10 to 15 is kind of a sweet spot.
Hmm.
I think pies maxed out at 16 for the full one. I guess it
Okay,
depends what size space you have, but just
that's the thing. Okay, our very first intake, our very first day, we were one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, and I think someone might have been missing from that, but we were around eight to begin with.
yeah,
And
eight's
then we
great.
finished. Oh, actually, no, I do think we were just that eight. I don't think I'm missing anyone. And then some came and some left. And then we ended around eight to 10, but I don't think we were ever more than 10. Um, and especially with Equinox, I don't think that we could have had more than that. Like right now, I think they have it capped at like 16 or 17 because obviously from the
Yeah,
business end, it's a they want to be making a profit, but there
yeah,
is only so much space to have and to use because then you have overlaps of intakes and you want all the students to be able to access the studio, and there's always, and both clubs are quite popular in terms of like everyone, a lot of the members do Pilates, so you also want to make sure that there's not too many students or apprentices like practicing in a studio, so like studio time is limited. So I think that they have struggled a little bit with a quantity of students that are being accepted onto the intake.
yeah.
But I guess business is
It's
business,
tough
so.
to know how, like, I think because if you have more than 20 people, it would be pretty easy for someone to kind of sit in the back and not sort of be in the mix, which I
Mhm.
guess you can really encourage people to get up there and do things. But I just think 20 seems like it would be way too many. I want to say mine was 12
That's a
and it
nice
was
number. It's
intensive over the course. We did, I think, 10 days straight or 12 days straight, and then another weekend a few months later. And I think more than 12 people for that type of program would have just been way too much.
mhm. I think also for hours, you have to hit a certain amount of, well, teaching hours, yes, but or like training hours, but also supervised hours, which would only be put on a certain amount of times per month. And it was like
Mhm.
the teacher trainers would host like 2 hours where you could go and practice and you were being observed by them. And then they would give you feedback in that moment. And it was like a really helpful hands-on experience. But all those supervised hours, you had to cap the amount of students that could attend them. So then the more students you have, the more people that are trying to vie or like are vying for these spots, then the
Yeah.
harder it is for everyone to get like
Yeah.
equal access to the trainers. And then also you have to hit a certain amount of like private sessions at
Yeah.
each level. So then the more of students there are, the less you would just have to have enough trainers then to match the amount of students you're bringing in. I think more than anything, if you've got enough teacher trainers, you
Yeah.
can do it. But if there's only like one or two, then it's a bit of an issue.
And I think that's one argument for limiting the amount of time that people can take to complete the course because I think it's really great that Pi doesn't have that. You can be an apprentice for as long as you would like. And maybe until now, when the training program hasn't been filling up, that's fine. But if you have multiple people who are there for many, many years, it's like you got to get new apprentices into the
Yeah.
space, move the old ones out, or get them into teaching. Um, yeah.
Because I think also at Pi, do you have to, because for at Equinox, for example, if you wanted to extend um, your course or like set your exam date at a later date, there was basically you had to pay a certain fee. I can't remember what it was. because I didn't end up going through it. But that was because with us as well, you were getting access to the gym and then also access to the studio to train in. So they don't want people
Yeah.
obviously just remaining apprentices forever and then just getting the free Equinox membership and like the ability to train in classical studio. But at Pi, there is no
There's no
recurring fee.
restriction.
Yeah.
There's no restriction. And I will say, every time I talk to people about the teacher training, which is probably I have 5 calls a week about it, the number one thing people say is, I love how flexible it is. I
Hmm.
think it, and I think you should only have flexibility maybe to some degree. Some people come in and they're like, I'm treating this like a master's program. I will be done in 9 months. Some people will say, I have 4 kids and a full-time job. Will I be able to do this over the course of a few
Hmm.
years? And I'm like, yes. So I
Yeah.
think it's good to make it accessible, but maybe there should be a cap on it, even if it's like 3 years or 2 years, because
Yeah.
then to your
And
point,
I
you
guess
are just
especially,
leaving.
yeah. Oh, I think we just got an email from Kate. Like, I need to mute my laptop, but I just saw
Should I take a
Kate
look?
something come through about um
What
branding being done.
she texts, she said to us, all finished. That's exciting. I have completed the branding.
Oh,
Blah
exciting.
blah blah
I
blah
saw, I meant
blah.
to say, I saw on a different email, Kate said something about wanting us to also pay for a branding package that had like a second logo or something, but that we had originally not wanted. I don't know if, I don't think
Oh,
either
I
of us
feel like
responded about that comment.
I don't remember seeing that. I feel like we're good on that.
Mm-hmm.
I could be wrong.
All
I
right.
can read
To
that
be dealt
email
with.
after. Um, anyway, what this is episode 10, maybe.
Oh my God, it is when we didn't even say hello,
We
or
didn't
did
even
we
do
just? Oh my
there's been a
gosh.
lot going on. Okay.
Oh, welcome
I
back.
welcome back. Episode 10.
Woo!
Very exciting. I'm really proud of us. You know what has been super cool is
Hmm.
this podcast to me, first of all, so useful for me to have this time every week. I just think it is a good sort of cleansing reset because
Hmm.
it feels like purposeful because it's feeding into this job that we're both building for ourselves, but also it's not, there's no pressure around it. And when I look at the buzz thing, the
Sprout.
buzz sprout,
I was like, is she gonna butcher it again?
I was gonna butcher it, so I just didn't say it.
What were
But
you
when I look
calling
at
it
it,
before? I don't remember.
Buzzicott, which is
Buzzcockt.
some
Buzzcockt,
kind of
yeah.
like tax firm or something. I don't know where I got that from. Um, it's cool to look at it and see if you just keep progressing at something and doing it and putting it out there, it does start to slowly gain
Hmm.
its a little group of followings. It's
Yeah.
really nice.
Which I'm going to say here, I'd like to apologize to all of our listeners and people who have been waiting for me to upload to YouTube. I have missed the last 2 episodes, and they're currently in the process of being uploaded. Namely, I would
That's
like to
okay.
apologize to my grandmother because I called her
It's
last
okay.
week and she told me, where is the new episode? I'm not seeing it. I've been checking for the last 2 weeks. There's no episode. And I was like, I'm so
Aww.
sorry. I apologize. So hopefully by the time she's listening to this, the episodes will
They'll
have
be
launched.
up.
But if not, yeah, this is a
But
shout out to my grandmother.
this is cool because if I just look, when we first started putting out the episodes, and it's only been 10, so it
Hmm.
hasn't been like that many, but when we first started putting it out, remember it would be like 2 people listening to it, it'd be like
Hmm.
your mom and my mom,
Yeah.
basically. And now we have almost 300 downloads.
Woo.
It's just so fun. And when I
It's very
checked
exciting.
yesterday, it was 10 less than that. So it's just, it's cool to actually just be consistent about something and then see it
Yes.
sort of roll out.
I meant to
Very
say
proud of
I was going to check in and see what because I kind of posted our TikToks, but I didn't actually check in and see what happened to them. So I don't even know if those are reaching any audience. I was like,
that.
what? So I'm going to
Our
just quickly log
Instagram,
in.
our Instagrams get like 500 views,
Okay,
maybe.
they've got like 200, some of them,
Yeah,
a couple
I love
hundred.
that.
Just I need to just get a bit more
It's so
consistent
fun.
with it. I want to also, on my personal TikTok,
Mm,
get a bit more consistent and just sort of start posting like like dumps of things and just like documenting my last 2 months in London, and I just want to have things that I can watch back. So I want to try to get more consistent with that. Literally, very similar
yeah,
to what we do here, where it's like just so I have something to look back on. Um,
yeah,
and I think it will be interesting to document the move, which I'm just going to tease because who knows where I'm going to end up because it switches every week.
yeah,
So I think it'll be interesting to then document that transition and figuring out that whole like leaving London, trying to work somewhere else,
yeah.
and then also like that last few weeks or like months in London. So I want to
Yeah,
get a
what's
bit more
going
consistent
on
there.
in Layla Land at this time?
Leila Land were I ran my
I was
10K
gonna
on
say you
Sunday.
ran.
Yeah,
Amazing. How was
thank
it?
you. It was such a wonderful experience. It was so cool. We
Good.
ran. It was at Wembley Stadium, so where you ran around the, the the stadium basically, and our finish line was like right in front, like on the like that like main line in front of the arch, which was
Yeah.
really cool. We
Cool.
had incredible weather. It was like blue skies, sun. It was nice and cold, but it like warmed up. And it was just such a wholesome day. It was so cool to see because when I raced or like did competed whatever in High Rocks,
Yeah.
almost everyone, like there were a lot of, yes, like regular people, but a lot of people who were doing it were athletes to some extent or like to a degree. They were all just at a quite a fit level, whereas this had a lot of regular people. And I don't want to use that in like an offensive, just like normal people were running, and it was like a lot of families,
Right.
um, and like little groups, and like there was a lot of like couples running it, and like saw a couple of dads with their sons, and just like regular people
Oh,
running it. And so it was just very wholesome in that sense, and it was nice to just how it felt like almost a fun day out for a lot of people, less than like, okay, I'm going to go and get the fastest time ever. Like there was that first wave that were sent out were like the fast paced people, and then they sort of like got a bit slower. But everyone seemed to just be like having fun with it, whereas Hyrox was a lot more, everyone was like wanted to succeed. So it was nice
yeah.
to be in that environment. And I aimed to race it. I wanted it to sit around an hour 10, an hour 15, because I was like, let's run it. I wanted to run it at like 6:30 a kilometer, and I was like, it'll be like a nice baseline speed or baseline race time, and I can go build from there because didn't want to do, which I did, which was set like a time and then now have to like improve from it because I was like, oh God, now
Yeah.
I have to get faster.
Yeah.
I don't have to, but I ended up running it in under an hour, which was really, really exciting.
That's
I
awesome.
had it was so cool. I had my like Strava connected to my in-ear, so it would like tell me every kilometer like how fast I was running. And my first kilometer, it's funny if I show it to you. I was like, oh, that's going to be my slowest one because I had heard about how you're supposed to like, or like running a negative split, which like the first half of your race is slower than the second half, and you're supposed to be able to build up. And I was
Yeah.
telling one of the guys from F45, I was like, my first kilometer is going to be my slowest. Like, don't worry. And he's like, yeah, sure. My first kilometer was 4 minutes, 22 seconds. I've never ran that fast in my entire life, genuinely.
You were ready
And like
to
my
go.
yeah, and then my first 5K of the race, I set a PR in my 5K. I did it in 26 minutes, which it was like hilarious because I was just like, oh, it'll be my slower half. And it kind of went out the window. But it was just a very fun environment. And I guess I had the pace on that day. So it was really cool. But I will tell you, there were a couple of hills. I was not expecting it to be so hilly. I was warned, but I was
Yeah.
then also told it was supposed to be a flat course. At like the 8th kilometer, I was just checking the Strava the other day. I There was like an elevation of 44 meters that was like gained throughout it, and I tell you, I got to the top of that hill and I saw a white light. I was like, I don't think I can do this. But then you go down, and then it's like, wow, I'm
And
on
then
top
it's
of the
great.
world.
I'm
Like it was
flying.
really, yeah, like
Yeah.
the emotions were all over the place. Um, but it was really, really fun. So I enjoyed.
I feel like
Although
that
I
distance is
It's a
good.
it's a nice distance. Like I can't believe that that is only, for example, a quarter of a marathon. You would have to do that full more times. Or
Yeah.
like that is only halfway of the half. Which obviously
Right.
you would run it at a slower pace if you knew
But
you were running a
still,
longer distance. But I was just like, that's the halfway point? Like, what
yeah.
do you mean?
Sarah and I
But
did the Edinburgh 10K a few years ago. And talking about hills, we did it because our friend was doing the marathon, so we just went up to support with it.
Mhm.
And the hills were just like it's still one of the hardest things I've ever done because
Even in that,
I
that
just
city is
wasn't
impossible to
expecting
just
the
walk. Yeah.
it was nuts. But I also have it was such a fun day.
Mm.
Similar thing to what you're talking about. There were like families, and then there was like sort of a kids fun run. It was just
Oh,
like a
that's
really
nice.
fun event and super
Mhm.
beautiful. So, yeah, but man, it was
Edinburgh
fun.
is my like favorite. I don't know if I've said on here, but it is my favorite city in the entire world. Like I have a love for it.
Really?
Yeah, it is. If I could, if I could live anywhere, just actually, I don't even know if I'd want to live in it because I wouldn't want to ruin it. Like that is how much I love it.
Hmm.
It is my. I don't know why. The very first time I went there, my soul just like I felt at peace, and every time I set foot in there on those like in that city, I am just like I'm meant to be here. So
That's
my
amazing.
dream is
Why
to
do
like
you
one
think it
day
is?
retire.
Why
I
do
have
you
no
think it is?
clue.
I'm curious.
Like
Wow.
I wonder, maybe it's, I mean, just maybe probably like a mixture of the architecture, the gloomy weather, just the greenery. I
Yeah.
went this year for my birthday. My birthday
Mm.
fell like in the middle of the week. And I decided to just do a solo trip up to Edinburgh, like and stay for 2 nights because I was like,
Mm.
the only thing I want for my birthday is to wake up in that city. And I was like, I don't even. Everyone was like, do you want one of us to go with you? And I was like, no, because I don't want anyone to ruin it for me. I was like, I need to be on my own, headphones on, just like walking around the city. And I don't know, I'm sure you would have done it when you were there. You know, like the walk up to Arthur's Seat or like up Arthur's Seat.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like that walk gives me so much peace, and I just did it like every day that I was there. And yeah, I have no clue what it is about that city, but yeah, I just love, but it is a beautiful city, but also it is a hilly city. Like you finish every day, you're like, I worked out my legs, so I could not even
Yeah.
imagine how on earth you would have ran a 10K there. That is, I'm very
Yeah.
impressed.
It was really beautiful. That's the only time I've ever been to that city, I think. And that was in May, so it was really like
Mm,
green and
that's
lush
such a
and
lovely
nice.
time. Mhm,
Yeah, but yeah, it's so gothic and maybe I
mhm,
must have gone up there. No, I think it might have just been that time. But even going out at nighttime when it was dark and kind of gloomy but romantic, like
mhm.
such a cool, who knows
There
what
was just
living
something
there
in
is
the
like.
air.
But
Yeah,
yeah.
that's my thing where I'm like, I don't even want to taint it because you know when you live somewhere, like you don't think it taints something, but like you risk growing to hate it just because you live somewhere and that has growing pains. But I think if I could retire anywhere, I always say it will be the Scottish Highlands for me. I will be like uncontactable on a
Yeah,
farm somewhere. Um,
it's amazing.
so yeah,
It's nuts how much I miss the rain and sort of the gloominess
you
of the
were
UK,
saying,
which
yeah.
people, I feel like the UK has a huge reputation for raining all the time. And it doesn't really rain all the time. But 2 winters ago, maybe it was last
Hmm.
winter, there was some kind of record for the amount of rain that we had. And I did
Oh,
feel
really?
that it was insanely rainy the whole winter. And I remember just being like, I'm never going to be dry ever again. But also in the summer, it can be beautiful and sunny. And it's not like a place where literally every single day, if it's not raining, you're relieved because like, it's not
So
like that.
Sunday, so Sunday was really sunny. I hate to prove the haters right. There was a rainstorm this morning out of nowhere.
Yeah.
The sky opened up
Gotta balance the
and it
cosmic
just started.
scales.
Yeah. And then it went
Yeah.
sunny again, and then it was raining an hour ago. Um, but no, I don't think it rains as much as people make it out to, or at least this year has been a drier year than before. Um,
Yeah.
although every time I just have a couple of memories of exactly what you're saying. When you get rained on, you're like, will I ever be dry again? There was like two or three times in the last year where I wasn't wearing my waterproof trainers and I just had wet socks. And I genuinely think it is like that is up there and like one of the most uncomfortable
Yeah.
things to have, like, or like top discomfort really is a wet sock. So I'm trying to
Yeah.
remind myself now, like your feet are dry because every time I have wet socks, I'm like, I did not take for granted, or I took for granted having dry feet.
Having
So
dry feet. You need
yeah,
waterproof trainers in London.
yes, I got a pair of Ons that are waterproof, um, but you either need that or boots. But if you're walking a
Yeah.
lot, I just think the trainers are more comfy.
Yeah. Agreed. Um, I've
But yeah, so
tried
that
to run
I
more,
was gonna say,
so
you've been talking
very
about your
inspired
dealing with
today.
elevations and all of that.
Uh, well, is there
Are you
anything
more?
else going on in your land? How's
Because I was
the
gonna say, I
moving prep?
not much. I think we're now settled where I may end up, which will be a continued teaser for the
Is that
next few
different from what you
weeks.
previously had told me,
What the last
potentially?
thing I told you is what we're going with, I think,
Okay,
as it
solid.
stands.
Love.
Um, So I'm just starting to think of or like compiling lists of things that I want to start to like almost stockpile or just purchase before I leave because there will be some things that I won't be able to buy and then there'll be a lot of things where it'll just be more expensive.
Yep.
So I'm trying to just where I can like buy an extra one of these or like doubles of things, um,
Yep.
which is causing my own personal budget to like skyrocket, but I'm like it'll be fine or it'll be for the greater good. Um, so, and that's what I'm trying to do, like extra, even just like skincares, lip balms, things like that. Um,
Yeah.
so I've been also messaging people to be like, if you think of anything that you miss from London or that you're like, oh, I wish I could just buy one of these, like what would it be? Because obviously while you're here,
Yeah.
you forget what you use so often. And
Totally
there's just a
forget.
few things and places that I have always said, oh, I'll get around to it, I'll get around to it. But the clock is ticking. And it's not that I'm never going to come back. I hope to be here, to be back quite often. But also, I want to get things done and like take off places that I've said I wanted to see. So yeah, there are a couple of restaurants that I'm like, I need to book that. Um, and a couple of like little trinkets I want to buy. But other than that, it's just been work, and working out, which has been great. It's nice to sort of just throw myself into routine,
Yeah.
and enjoy it. A lot of clients are coming back now from summer, so I things will be picking up again. So it was nice to have like a little bit of a lull for almost a week, 10 days. It was nice and quiet in the city. Um, that was enjoyable. But yeah, we're now back to, oh, actually, because I just looked at the corner and I realized the biggest thing that happened to me personally yesterday was Taylor Swift getting engaged. Unfortunately, it did
Big deal.
rock
I'm
my
not like a
world.
huge Taylor Swift person, but even I was like, this is a big moment for
It
everyone.
was, you know what it was as well? Because I just checked my phone right before going to a workout and it was on my screen and I was like, there's no way I'm looking at this right now. Um, and I saw a bunch of the girls today at this Pilates studio and we were all just geeking out about it. And I was like, this is such girlhood. I'm so
Are
happy.
Taylor Swift like super fans excited about this choice of husband for
I
her?
think it's
For her?
yes,
Good.
because I
Okay.
think especially in the last few weeks she did a podcast episode with Travis Kelce and with his brother, and it was like a 2 hour episode, and you can just really see that he looks at her and is like puts her on a pedestal in terms of like he is like in awe of her in like in such a wholesome
Oh,
way. And I think it's also quite cool because she is a little bit older. She's 35 and now getting married to like the love of her life. So I think for a lot of
yeah.
people, because I saw an interesting comment that was like, this is so cool to see someone older at finding, when there's so much pressure on younger women to like, get married so young. And there's a lot of discourse about settling or not settling. And it's so cool to see someone in such a public, not that she's even that old, but just not someone who has talked
Yeah.
so much and sung and written so much about love and romance to have not settled and like to have waited and found someone who, um, puts her on that pedestal or like is in awe and like, treats her the way she wants to be treated at the end of the day. So yeah, but it was so cool. I was talking to Keelan about it today at Equinox, and we were both just like giggling, and I was like, "This is so like she has sung me through so many in the last like 15 years, so many different like stages of my life, So it's so cool
Yeah,
to see someone who's been with you in your darkest times, like so happy in a very
yeah,
parasocial way. I'm like, oh, happy for you. Like, go off.
that's
And my whole
amazing.
TikTok is just like all of her most depressing songs. Like, okay, if she can make it out of this depressed era and be
And we're
engaged, like,
good.
there's hope. Yeah. One of her
Well, that's
songs is
cool.
like,
That's very exciting.
is yeah, it's like it's called The Prophecy, and she's like singing to us to the sky, like to a god, and basically saying like, "Please just change my fate." And so everyone is like posting to it to be like, "Okay, Taylor, what sky did you sing to?
I'm about
How
to
do
go
I
to that
get?
sky.
Yeah, like what? How do I do what you did, basically?" So,
It's pretty
so
major. I
those are
feel like
my
that
big life
setting
updates.
will be very popular in the media.
Yeah, I wonder if it will
Um,
be like posted or if it will be like tried to be kept so super private and we'd only ever see leaks because they are so private. But I don't know.
yeah, I'd be curious to
Time
see
will
if they
tell.
try to if they make a thing out of it or not. Probably
Yeah.
not.
So those are my two biggest things. The 10K and Taylor Swift getting engaged, which I would put, on the same level for me
Major life
personally.
accomplishments.
Yeah.
Love.
What about yourself? So you've been saying you've been
I
getting into more running.
Yeah, I've been trying to. So, did I say this last time? Tristan's running a half marathon at the end of October or mid-October.
Exciting.
Wanted me to do it as well, and I still haven't committed or not, just because it's in the mountains and it's very sort of rugged terrain as far as I can tell, and I just don't know if I would be doing it to make a point or if I would be doing it because I actually want to do it.
That
Um,
is so honest. I respect that.
yeah, and I did start a half marathon training running plan. So,
Nice.
but I only started that this week and it's middle of October is the time. So I had to kind of like skip a few weeks ahead in the
Hmm.
training thing. So I've just been normally when I run, I will go and run 5K and that is it. Like I don't usually have interest in running further than that. I'm like there's other
Hmm.
things I would like to do with my day or other workouts or
Yeah.
whatever. But yesterday I
Respect.
ran for an hour and I was like
Nice.
I actually kind of enjoyed that a lot. So I got some new running shoes and that
Oh,
makes
that
it
always
fun.
helps.
That always helps.
Any excuse for new workout clothing or any new workout clothing
Yeah.
really just.
It helps a lot. So
Mhm.
I'm enjoying that. I'm supposed to run 10 miles tomorrow.
Oh my God.
I don't really, it's like 16K. Um,
Oh.
so we will see how that feels. Um,
You're doing
but
better at this distance than I am. I have yet to run more than 10K in prep for this half marathon, and I'm like, I probably should be doing that a bit more often.
I feel like 10K is just plenty of distance. I don't know. I don't have the thing inside me that's like, you know, do
Yeah,
more, like push, push, push. So we will see, but I've been like running in the mountains and stuff more, and sometimes those
that
runs
sounds
end up
lovely.
it's like running, hiking because you're kind of going up and
Hmm.
down, and not all of it you can run, and some of those end up being a solid 2 hours or whatever.
Oh,
So I think
wow.
I'm building up my endurance, but
Hmm.
that's been fun to
Are
just
those like
explore.
almost trail runs? Like trail
Yes,
running vibe? Because I've
yeah,
been seeing
they're
people
trail
posting
runs.
about it. Yeah, yeah, looks cool.
It's cool. It's cool because you can just see so much. It's like when you do a hike, if you're hiking, there's only so much ground you can cover over a certain amount of time. And I really don't like camping, so I'm not trying to like hike somewhere and sleep in a tent and then hike a little more.
Fair.
So to see as much as I can in a
Hmm.
day or in one outing, it's nice to run. Um, other than that, I'm going to start. I had a really fun last week, I guess, with the studio I'm going to start teaching at
Yes.
in Salt Lake
How
City.
was the photo shoot? Because you were
Oh yeah, last
leaving,
time we
or we
talked was
we had a catch-up call, which was
yeah.
not a podcast. It was just us.
Mhm.
Um, and you were off to go take some photos for it.
It was really fun. The I got so annoyed at Salt Lake City because it's a grid. The streets are a grid, which I'm
Hmm.
still not totally. acclimated to, and I just can't really read the city very well. So I got sent an address, went to that address, got out, and just couldn't find the place, couldn't find the
Oh.
location, was so frustrated. And then basically got in my car and was like, well, I'm not going to go. Like, when, like, just being silly
Mm.
about it. Looked up the actual address. It was only 6 minutes away. So I went, and it ended up being so much fun. It was like a really, um, this guy Stuart, his studio, and his wife, who is not a photographer, but she like helps out with his work. They had a really cool, just big room with like a white backdrop, and then the photos were really casual. So they had a stand in the area, and then his wife would talk to us, Libby, while he took pictures. So they all came
Oh,
out
that's
really
cool.
like kind of casual. And it was fun. It was kind of funny because the way that we organized people for the group photos based on height, I was in the front for pretty much everything. And so I feel like I'm going to be in the photos on this website for the next 2 decades. And I'm just
I was
not
about to
even
say.
like going to be
It's
there for
funny
that long.
because I look at sometimes the photos on the PI website and I was
Like,
like,
who are
how
these
long
people?
ago was this taken? Yeah, there's so that is
Literally,
going to
they need
be
a
your
refresh
lore in a
potentially.
completely
Yeah.
different studio. Nice.
Yeah. So that's kind of funny. I'm going to start teaching on Wednesday evenings. Just they don't label their classes of what type of equipment it is. They just have equipment classes and mat classes. So
Nice.
it kind of gives you the freedom. So I'm going to teach an equipment class and a mat class, and then have some availability for private bookings, which will be good.
Exciting.
Um, yeah, so that was all very positive at the end. It worked out. And then I'm in
I know that feeling though of
Michigan.
like when you try to go somewhere and you can't find it and you're just like that frustration and just
I'm
like,
just
should
like,
I just,
just I'm over it.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
just done. But then pretty soon after that, I came back to Michigan, which is where my parents live, and that has been lovely. Honestly, just not being in the dryness of Utah for a minute feels really good.
Hmm.
It's just like it's raining sometimes, and it's really green, and there's lots of water around in Michigan, so that's been great. And then I go home to Salt Lake on
Hmm.
Saturday.
I saw you
Which
post
is
a photo with your brothers. That must be nice to see, to be
yeah,
all
so
together.
nice.
Very cute.
We haven't been all together since September last year, which isn't that
Oh, wow.
long, but now we just live sort of in all different corners of the world, it feels like. So that was really nice. Seeing my parents is always nice. Seeing my dogs is great. It's just good.
I have didn't even
Um,
talk to me that you have got dogs. What
I
breed?
have two collies, like
Oh,
Lassie. They're both just sitting on the sofa. They're very sweet.
stop.
I've been really, the only other thing is I've been really, really loving my job at Pi right now.
Yay. That's great.
Yeah, it's been so fun. It's like it's a lot of I don't want to use the term managing because I don't really feel like Pi's culture lends itself to those sort of traditional terms. But
That's one
I'm
way to
sort
put it.
of I'm sort of coordinating different things with teachers, and we're like totally changing the schedule, but I kind of do the bigger picture pieces of it. So it's just been fun. I feel like I have a lot more freedom to kind of direct things. And some teachers have, like Javier proposed 100-minute reformer.
Wow.
And it was just cool to be like, yeah, let's give that a try. Let's pop it in the
Hmm.
schedule. So now he has 100-minute reformer on his schedule. Just some things like that, bringing in some new teachers.
Hmm.
And speaking of new teachers, it's kind of funny. I've now had 3 different people have calls with me about teacher training, and they've said, I'm going to be working full time. Am I going to be able to do this course? Blah, blah, blah. And I explained the flexibility and how, yes, it'll be fine. And 3 different people have said, are you sure? Because when I was in the studio, I met these 2 women, and they both said that they're in their 25, 30 hours a week. And every time I've been like, is it Pina and Pooja? And they're like, yes, it's them. And I'm like, just forget about them
That's
because
so funny.
they both were working in corporate and then like cut that off and started this program.
Yeah.
They are extra special people.
Hmm.
They're
They
not
are switching
the
up. Yeah,
norm.
they're applying their corporate brain to, or their corporate
Yeah,
schedule as well to Pilates.
yeah, totally. So
That's
all that
funny.
stuff is just it's just been fun. Life's been good. I have a lot of fun little trips scheduled upcoming. So
Nice.
yeah,
Just
no
in and
complaints.
around Utah
In and
or like
around. I'm going to
California.
California. I'm going
She's
to
a Cali girl.
Alaska. Yeah, I'm going to Alaska to visit Tristan's
Nice.
family. Back to California for a wedding. And I'm coming to London at the end of September.
Ooh.
Excited. I'm so excited for that. Um, yeah. Yeah. Not a lot otherwise going on, just in lots of different time zones and trying to figure out what that means every day for what time
Need a
I'm
world
scheduled in.
clock. Yeah. I feel like your brain is
Yeah.
just working across, as we're saying, a bunch of different
What I've
time zones.
started doing is I'll put a meeting in my calendar and I'll say 10 a.m. Eastern time in the title of the event.
Hmm.
So I'll just label it instead of trying to make sure it just matches up with the calendar. I mean, I do that as well, but um yeah, I'm getting
This is
very
only gonna get even
excited.
more hectic in the
I
future.
know
I
when
feel bad. I'm
you're
like when we have
I know
my time, London time, and then you, it'll be I have
it'll be
Utah
great.
now on my phone though, because I'm like, I need to know what time it is for Rose. Because when you posted something the other day, I was like, why on earth is Rose posting at 2 a.m.? I was like, why is she working these hours? And then I was like, right, because it's not 2 a.m. for Rose. She can
Yeah.
post things.
It is kind
Um,
of nice
yeah.
to I've had a few kind of ships in the night phone calls with Pooja and Holly where
Hmm.
they'll be just waking up and I'll be going to bed. And it is kind of nice to sort of seal up a work thing and then just go to sleep and not worry about it for the next 8 hours.
Hmm.
Um, I'm getting super excited for Honeycomb Studios and all of that because it's starting
Hmm.
to sort of tighten up in a
Take
good
place.
way.
Yeah, we
Starting to
were
take
sent
form.
what was like a website draft, I guess, or like an
Yeah,
outline. I'm not sure what you would call it. Nikki
yeah,
sent that over this week, and it's also cool to kind of similar. I don't know. I can't remember if we had this conversation on the podcast, but I remember we were both saying when we were looking at the coming soon page, we just thought it would be like a white screen that said coming soon.
yeah,
So I think similarly with this, like obviously I knew what we were signing up for, like quite a nice, like, or a good, well thought out. I was not expecting just a coming soon page basically, but it was even more odd because I, it's like I could not visualize what it would look like, but this is exactly what I would have wanted it
yeah,
to look like, if that makes sense.
totally. And I'm very proud of the way that we sort of explained to them this vision that we had, which evolved over many weeks and meetings. And then I, I don't think I really thought about it consciously, but when I actually then looked at the page that they sent and saw the split screen for Honeycomb Studios and Hex, I thought, whoa, like this looks really good. And I really, really
Mm-hmm.
like it. And also, the description of this doesn't sound like it would look good
No.
because it's like two different things that are connected. And you can tell that very obviously, but they also do look drastically different in the great way. And they still look really good side by side. It's just cool.
It is very cool.
Very
It's
excited.
also nice
Very
because I
excited.
feel like I've been talking, we keep saying this, but I'm talking about this thing for so much and I'm giving it so much time and energy. So it's nice to have something that I can, like, we can soon show people to be like, and this is what we've been working on, like this here
For
thing,
all this
rather,
time. Yeah.
yeah, and trying to explain it to so many people and just being like, there was, like, for a lot of people, there was no point even explaining it, and just, it's nice to
Yeah.
have like a here you go sort of
Yeah.
platform. Yeah.
It made me really happy. Tristan and I went on a weekend trip, and when we were driving back, he was talking on the phone to his brother, and his brother was asking about me and how it was going, and Tristan described Honeycomb Studios, and I was like, "Yes, that is exactly what it is." Like, "Yes, good,
You nailed
well
it.
done. You nailed that." Because in his defense, it has been like, "Oh, it's this, actually it's this, actually it's this, and we're adding this thing and we're taking away this thing." And now there's
Hmm.
Hex, by the way, also, which is a part of it, but not quite a part of it.
And it
They're
was going to
connected,
be
but
a
they're
whole
not the same
separate
thing.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So, oh, the other thing I was
It's
gonna ask,
mm, I was gonna just say to that point, it
yeah,
just is so cool to me. I wonder if we've ever said it, but if you remember the very first time we were talking about honeycomb in general, and it was when me, you, and Tristan were just sat at the edge of the table at the pie, like the little team dinner, and we were just in our own bubble, just yapping away because that you had just a couple of days before that, like approached me with the idea, but had obviously spent a lot
yeah,
of the time or the year prior talking to Tristan's ear off about it, so in the best way. So it was so cool for all three of us to be there
so
and to be
cool.
talking about it.
I know.
And there's a clip which it's like at the very end of like the pie, and it's like they were panning, and you could just have me like very excited, like animatedly saying something to you and Tristan, and I'm like just explaining it because my hands are like going everywhere, and it's so funny because I just remember the three of us literally being in like a bubble about it. And so it's so cool to see it's gone off into so many iterations and where we've now landed from what we thought
Yeah,
it was. Um,
yeah,
from and then from when you and I first spoke about it at district, that first like business meeting we had, um,
yeah.
to now.
I know. Sometimes I have moments where I'm kind of like, I just want this thing to exist now. Like, why is it taking so much longer than I want it to take? And then I think about that first meeting and then, yeah, discussing it with Tristan, and it has come so far, like really,
Yeah, because
really
I guess
far.
you have a whole extra almost year of this having lived in your head, whereas for me,
Yeah.
this idea was birthed in May. So I'm like, oh yeah, it's coming along
Yeah.
quite quick.
Yeah.
Um, for you, it's been much longer. And
Yeah.
then
It
either
was like
way,
October the
yeah.
previous year was when I first started thinking about it.
And either way, between the two of us, I'm not surprised that you would like it to be in your hands as ASAP.
As soon as
Like,
possible.
why does it not exist?
And
I
I
have some
do think
screenshots of like you just of me just waking up to a message from you being like, big, brand big new idea.
brand new
And I'm
idea.
like,
I know sometimes I have to hold
yes.
myself back on like what's next.
No,
But
I
I
love
do
it.
think I I feel like Honeycomb Studios will hopefully be out in the world in the next month,
Yes, I agree.
which is great. And now, whenever I see the new things come in, I'm like, oh, of course it couldn't have been released last month
Hmm.
because all of these things didn't exist. Like, duh.
Yes.
So I get it. And I feel super grateful that Nikki and Kate have almost become like business advisors as well
Hmm.
in some ways because they also just have, questions that we need to know the answers to and things. So I do appreciate that, but I'm just excited for it to be, yeah, a thing. Also, because I genuinely believe in it, and I'm like, I want to see how people communicate on this thing, and I want it to
Yes.
be,
Oh my God. I have not even thought about, I think I haven't even let myself get excited about getting to see people interact on it.
on it.
Don't know how much we've
Yeah,
discussed it, but yeah, I can't.
thank
I'm very
you.
excited for that.
It's amazing.
Oh, yes, I think it does. And I mean, there's even, we've said it, there's already been situations where people we know, I'm like, oh, I wish we had this resource that I could give you for you to use it, um,
Yeah,
because you could do with this resource.
yeah.
Also, I'm going to turn on the light because it's getting really gloomy there. It's
Okay.
gray skies and and it's starting to rain again. So it's a
Should
nice
we
sunny day.
start talking about the apparatus?
Yeah, we can wrap this episode and
Wrap it
then,
up.
yeah, all right. Um, episode
10.
10.
So
That is
special.
so
Thanks
crazy to
for,
say.
yeah, thanks for listening. And yeah, 10 episodes. I'm pretty proud of that. So thanks for being
Yes.
a part of
So
it.
hopefully you guys will have something in your hands, not literally, but soon enough, within the month, we hope to present you guys with uh, what we've been talking about from episode one, which is
Beautiful.
very exciting.
Yeah, super
Um,
exciting.
and next week's episode is going to be a bit more almost informative. We're going to be talking about classical equipment. So, some terms that we might have been saying that may have just gone over your guys' heads, very understandably. So,
Mhm.
it may be a shorter episode. Obviously, we haven't recorded it yet, but we're going
Yeah.
to look to start almost batching our episodes when we film just because it's going to allow us to be more consistent. So, we will be talking, we'll, I think, have a sort of personal life update, business update focused episode, and then the week after we'll try to be a bit more informative. So that is what you can expect coming forward. And I think if there's anything anyone wants specifically, give us ideas because this was inspired by my mom mentioning
Yeah.
that we need to talk about like what
True.
is a reformer, which
Yeah.
obviously we might not think about that. So if any friends of mine or friends of Rosie's, if you want to send us feedback, we would love that.
Feedback, ideas. Yeah. Good stuff.
Cool. All
Episode
right.
10. Bye.
Bye.